Zohar Mamdani would be an example of a scavenger, somebody who's a complete lifelong loser.
We didn't handle it right going into Iraq. Why would he not shake hands?
Right, that's the
with
moment that Bill's objecting to.
No, I understand. But well, it's Saturday Night Live. I mean, I don't know that we should overthink it necessarily.
I want to hop into an episode of Bill Maher with Ben Shapiro on the panel to discuss MAGA, Donald Trump, and other political topics. So lock in, leave us a like on the video, helps us out a ton, gives us a boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the discussion with some fact checks ready.
I will also say this, I didn't like it when Tom Hanks went on Saturday Night Live and did a sketch where he was wearing a MAGA hat and wouldn't shake hands with a black person. Not helpful.
I disagree. I thought it was a great sketch because it was a continuation of the earlier sketch where he's Doug.
But you think that's a fair portrayal of MAGA? I mean,
no, that's not what the point was, though, Bill. The point was that sketch was meant to show that Doug, in the continuation of the original sketch, that Doug on Jeopardy, as a working class, rural white guy with his MAGA cap on, actually had a tremendous amount in common with the black panelists that he was competing against. And that was the entire idea of the skit, was that actually whatever...
But why would he not shake hands?
Right, that's the moment that Bill's objecting to.
No, I understand. But well, it's Saturday Night Live. I mean, I don't know that we should overthink it necessarily.
And remember, guys, these are the free speech warriors who will proudly defend a conservative's right to say the N-word or joke about George Floyd, Paul Pelosi, Gretchen Whitmer, you know, any left-leaning victim of political violence, defend homophobic jokes, the comedian who said that Puerto Rico was a floating pile of trash at a Trump rally, but make a single joke about MAGA being racist, and that is a step too far. I've never understood this cry bully mentality from the right, how the rage gets pointed at the media or the left for calling out the racism instead of the racism itself it's calling out. At least the SNL joke spoke to a larger political issue of bigotry growing on the right, which is undeniable. But as this man said, it's a late night skit show. Maybe don't read too much into it, but when MAGA needs to take any avenue to play the ultimate victim card, I get why they'd be so desperate to use it.
It was a big deal for the country. We're almost a quarter century out from there. You mentioned it during the show, like we didn't handle it right going into Iraq. I mean, that's my view. Some people maybe think we did, and maybe in the future there'll be revisionist things, and oh boy, we missed it at the time. What a great idea that was. I don't think so. But I mean, Afghanistan is well on its way to being in the 9th century. So there's $2 trillion well spent. I mean, what lessons do we have from a quarter century away?
I mean, the number one lesson, which actually was the lesson of 9/11, which we should have learned at the time, is that we have in the West a capacity to project our own values onto other countries and other people that is just false. The reason that many people thought you could just project democracy into Afghanistan or Iraq is because they're just like us. They have the same priorities we do.
I agree and disagree. He, of course, is missing the nuance of where countries fall in the cog of freedom, the freedom machine, so to speak, as many countries suffer to enable directly our freedom, right? Through extraction of wealth, political instability, or mounting military presence in the area. But all of that still might be better than the alternative. But how free are they really, rather than enabling our greater freedom? Ben Shapiro famously supported the Iraq war, but I think as a country, we've moved past the point where Republicans feel comfortable admitting that they defended or support it. Sadly, though, like they all still have the same foreign policy chops. We have Trump continuously attacking innocent countries, preemptively lying as he does so. It's only a matter of time before MAGA spirals us into another war, probably based off lies. So like, I don't really care to hear their opinions on things like that.
Zohar Mamdani would be an example of a scavenger, somebody who's a complete lifelong loser, he was a rapper with less successful record than I have as a rapper. That's not even a joke. Okay. That's real.
Well, all of us in our 20s try things that don't work out.
Do we become mayor after doing nothing? No. Literally nothing?
Obviously, his forte was not in rap. It may be in politics.
I mean, it seems like his forte is destroying the real estate market in New York, increasing crime rates, and importing the Intifada. So
it's not my kind of candidate either.
It's funny that he went to that avenue because Ben also had a whole failed bid as an actor or like a screenwriter or both or whatever, and flamed out and then had to turn to his inflammatory statements to make a career, which is why he's so much less relevant now as there's people who will say crazier things with better words, and he has the personality of a wet paper bag outside of that, so people don't really care anymore. I would love to know what kind of experience is expected for a mayoral candidate where, and to Ben's credit, like, this doesn't apply to him necessarily. He's never been the biggest Trump guy, but Trump had literally no experience before running for president of the country. Zoran has at least worked in politics before. He has obviously good political chops to him. He's surrounded by people with good politics, and he's running for mayor, not president. But leave it to Ben to have hateful things to say to the Brown candidate with the Middle Eastern sounding name. Shocking.